Alright guys, thanks for tuning in today. So I know in my previous video I mentioned that there were 3 common ways that you can shade using a liner. Now, if you haven't checked that previous video, make sure you go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah, so this next way that I'm gonna show you is it's pretty common. It's very similar to whip shading or feathering. We call it crosshatching. Now, if you can see here, I've made this guideline here, just like this, that same one that we used on this one right here, just so we can practice our crosshatching. Before we begin, I want to tell you what I'm using. I'm using a 3 round liner cartridge with the Cheyenne Sol Nova. All right guys, so we're about to get started on this crosshatching technique here. I'm gonna start off with my darkest tone. If you haven't checked my video on how to set up my inks, I'll leave that in the description as well. All right, so I'm starting off with my most darkest tone here, which is full black. Now remember, the darker the tone, you're gonna sit a little bit longer. You're gonna let the needle penetrate, let the machine do a little bit more of the work. As we go with our lighter tones, you're gonna lift up a little bit and start using that pendulum motion. But for now, I'm really gonna start, I'm not digging in per se, but I'm using a little bit more pressure. Now remember guys, I have my needle out about a nickel's width, maybe a little bit more. Alright, so let's say, alright, so I'm gonna start here. Now remember guys, we gotta make sure we stay nice and tight. We gotta make sure we stay nice and tight with these strokes here. See that? We gotta stay within the guideline here. Now I'm breaking up this this guideline into sections here. So this section will be the darks, this section and above will be the mid, and this section and above will be our lightest tones here. Yeah, again, I'm not digging in per se, but I'm letting the needle really penetrate, you know? And I'm staying super tight with my strokes here. So you can see me here, I'm just dragging. Very similar to the whip shading technique, where you're just coming at an angle, you know? Just dragging the needle across. And you go this way. Just creating that smooth gradient. Let's see. That looks pretty dark to me. Now Now I think we can move on to our mid-tones now. Alright guys, so remember, we're breaking up this guideline into threes. So this section was the darks, this section is going to be for the mid-tones, and then this section is going to be for the light tones, right here. All done with the 3-round liner. Again, we're going to just keep doing the same thing, but now we're just going to use our mid-tones. Just going to start from the dark area and just pull it into our mid-tone area right here. Just going like this, and then like this, until we get our smooth gradient that we're looking for. Alright, going in with my second darkest tone. Again, remember guys, if you don't know what my ink setup is, I'll leave a link in the description for you to check that out. Alright, so I'm starting off inside the our dark tone area. And we're kind of continuing these strokes here. You can kind of see the path that you can kind of see the strokes from the previous marks. So right here you can kind of see the previous strokes. You know, if you really look closely, what you want to do is just continue that. You know what I mean? And that's the best way to get like a seamless transition. Now again, we want to be able to make a nice smooth gradient without being able to tell where any of the sections begin or end, right? That's our goal. Starting off in the dark tone area and just dragging it out. I don't know if you could tell the technique that I'm using, but I'm kind of going in like a pendulum motion, using my fingers and my hand to create that motion of going boom, 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 boom. You don't want any abrupt, unless you're in the dark tones, you know, in the blacks with full black, yeah, you can dig in there and show, like pull, right? But in this case, our mid-tones, we really just want to create a nice smooth transition using our pendulum motion, right? And just go this way. Since we're cross-hatching, we're just going like this. Pull it out. Now I'm going into my third darkest tone, which is smack dab in the middle. Now you'll notice I gotta go over this, say about, I gotta make about like maybe 5-6 different passes till I get the actual gradient that I'm looking for, a transition. You know? So it really just takes patience. You just want to, you know, go back and forth and just take your time. Make sure you fall within the guidelines, you know? Looks pretty good right there. Alright, so now I'm gonna go into my my fourth darkest tone. Going in my fourth darkest tone, and then right after that I'm gonna go into the let me remake these guidelines real quick. So yeah, I'm gonna be going into the fourth darkest tone and then my 3-drop. So yeah, again, this was the darks, right? This was the mid-tones, and now we're going into the light tones here. This is where you really want to use that pendulum motion, guys. So I'm going to fourth darkest tone. Just We start from the previous section and just drag it out. In the previous section and drag it out. And to make that nice smooth transition. And now I'm down to the fifth darkest tone, which is my lightest tone. It's a 3-drop. Again, I'm just starting from the previous tone and just dragging it out. Same thing. Now this technique will again also be used amongst a lot of you cosmetic tattoo artists, or I actually use a lot of cross-hatching and whip shading just like this. I use a lot of whip shading and cross-hatching when I'm shading super small or even regular size portraits, you know, but especially small size portraits, like say you're doing like a St. Michael or something and the face is like super small, like that big. Yeah, I'm definitely using a liner to shade, you know what I mean? I like this. All right, let's see how that looks. Alright, there you have it. So this is the whip shading or the feathering technique I was using earlier. This is the cross-hatching method. Again, they're both very common and used amongst a lot of tattoo artists, obviously. There's one more way that I'm gonna show you guys that I'll make in a separate video, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching this. Appreciate you guys. Please like and subscribe this video if you can. That'd be great. It makes me super happy waking up to new subscribers. So yeah, let's keep learning together. I hope you guys learned something, and leave a comment below and let me know what kind of techniques or any questions that you have. Just let me know. You know, I'm more than happy to make a video or a description of that using my knowledge. You know, I don't know everything, but I'll do my best to answer your questions. You know, I'm here to help. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, thanks for watching. You guys take care.